one of the things that we want to try and figure out is where we're going to raise our kids. There is no Amazon, and life is actually really hard without Amazon. Amazon shoppers are convenience shoppers, and it's hard to kind of like hit that point home until you're hit by the inconvenience of no Amazon in a new location.
They didn't get the note. China and Trump didn't get the note.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Upside, brought to you every Wednesday or Friday, but usually Wednesdays. And this week we are doing a flashback episode where we try and find out. Zamir and I have both been on the move a lot lately, and we just want to try and catch up, see what's been going on and what we've been up to. Does that sound good?
That sounds like a plan.
Cool.
I'm actually quite excited.
Yeah.
What you've been in. We've not been in the same place.
You're looking more tan than I am.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that happened.
That's all right.
I did have a little break in the sunshine.
Yes. Okay, so tell us. I'll interview you, you interview me, and we'll run through what everyone's been up to.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
So, all right. Last 2-3 weeks, you've been in... Can you name the countries you've been in?
Okay, let's see. I was in Mallorca. Is Scotland a country?
Scotland's
country.
Technically a country.
I've been
You're
in
in Edinburgh.
I've been in Dubai.
Dubai.
I think that's it. I don't think I've been anywhere
Okay.
else. Oh, wait a second. No, I was in Manchester yesterday. That's still the same country.
That still counts. Okay, so we
I've
should
been
say
traveling.
cities.
I've been traveling.
So those are the cities. Okay, so...
No, but this is going to be embarrassing because now tell me what countries you've been in and all the ones you drove through as well.
Yeah. Okay, so countries that I've been in. So I was in Scotland with you. I am currently living in Hungary with my family. We drove there. So that was Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, and Austria.
I think you did France as well.
No, France.
You went on the... I know that
you were talking... Yeah, okay, Calais. Yeah, that counts. Okay, sorry.
Oh.
Sorry to our French friends. The UK hasn't annexed that. Right. So yes, technically also through France.
Did you drive through a little bit of Netherlands as well, or did you?
Yeah, Netherlands. There's like this weird little segue through Netherlands.
It's quite cool. You go Belgium, Netherlands. You go back in him now.
Yeah, it's like Germany, Netherlands, Germany, something like that.
Yeah, I've done that. It's very cool.
It's weird. Those are my main movements. I feel like, and then I've been back to London. I've been back to London since then.
Been through since. Though?
Yeah, but I've been back to London a couple of times since then.
And you're flying via places as well.
Yeah. Okay. So why is this relevant to founders? Because I think.
Let's talk about your bit first, right? Why is your bit relevant? Because I think that's a really critical one. You've chosen 2 months.
Yeah. 2 months living in Hungary.
And your wife's from Hungary.
My wife's Hungarian.
Yeah.
So this is a more meta, and so we're going to go slightly meta. Forgive me, team. But the idea is essentially this notion of living life by design, where you plan a life that you want to live, and you go out trying to create it, bring it into reality. One of the things that we want to try and figure out is where we're going to raise our kids. But in doing that, we have a whole bunch of cities that we are considering that we might live in. And so we're spending the next kind of like 2 years spending time in each one to figure that out. And that's one of the cool things about being an entrepreneur, in that you have the opportunity in a much greater way to design the life that you want to live. Like in Hungary, which is really cool, there's a baker. You go and buy your bread from a bakery. There's a fruit store, and you buy the fruits from like a veggie store. And there's also the supermarkets and everything else. There is no Amazon. And life is actually really hard without Amazon. It's really funny. I've kind of gone like cold turkey on Amazon. And so like yesterday when I was like, I'm going to be in London for like a bit, I went on and bought like a whole bunch of things knowing it's going to arrive today so I can pick it up and take it back with me. And that's really hard. And so we should discuss that. We should come back to that at some point. Another hard thing about it is it's harder for the kids because they're not used to the switch ups. But I'm hoping they'll get used to it. So, yeah.
Are there any areas where you think, other areas where the reality is like not quite how you'd hoped it would be?
Also, you miss your friends, right? Because one of the cool things of living in certain countries is you get to see your friends on a more regular basis.
Roots.
Yeah. And so that bit is harder, further away from the team and from yourself. And so everything has to be planned a bit more. But generally, overall, I'm still happy about it. It's not like perfect. It's not easy because we still have to figure things out. But it's awesome. I definitely have to say that.
Good. Oh, I'm glad it's been so good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And I would recommend it if you are a founder and you have the opportunity to do it. try and live life by design. Think about the life you want to live. And I asked myself 2 questions. What is the good life for me and my family? And I asked my partner, what is the rich life for you and I? And in answering those 2 questions, we can like make a plan based on that.
I think it's a really good point, because actually when we've talked through different ideas with the business and different projects we might take on, one of the key things we always discuss is this something that's going to hold us down to a physical location or not? And if it is, then we kind of just go.
We left it.
Yeah.
Because we looked at setting up a 3PL, right? Yeah. And we were like, no. We'll be stuck to like one spot.
Yeah. So we have made that kind of conscious positive decision to ensure that we always have some degree of flexibility, or a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, and we use WeWork, right? Because it's like, it's global. We can like jump in and out. It's not in Hungary. Please get to Hungary. I already need it there.
It's been great for me. So recently,
how about yours? Because I think yours are kind of cool. Like, you've been to way more places, and they're sunnier.
It's not really, no, it wasn't so much. I mean, look, mine were, the first one was Mallorca, right? I said that was a holiday, and this was supposed to be a complete break, right? We have 2 versions. We have where we're going to go on holiday and it's a break, and then we have complete break. Complete break pretty much means do no work. And it didn't quite work out that way. And the main reason for that was something that was unforeseeable, which was Donald Trump decided to introduce all these tariffs. And so that suddenly threw a spanner in the works, and I had to get involved from that side. But
sorry about that.
Yeah, I know. What can you do? Nobody, they didn't get the note. China and Trump didn't get the note. So, but I had a great break still. All the same, we took calls, and then we arranged and planned visits and stuff that we were going to do off the back of it. And then I had my break. So I can't really complain. That was a great holiday.
Great. So that was Mallorca.
That was Mallorca.
Mallorca or Mallorca?
Mallorca.
Okay. If you're Spanish, please comment and let us know.
Yeah, don't go with my pronunciation on that. It was great though. I had phenomenal. It was fantastic weather. We had a really good break.
All right, and then you came back. We were both in Scotland last week in Edinburgh.
Yeah, came back. Flew up to bank holiday. So it was Easter weekend. Then Easter Monday, flew up to Edinburgh. We're meeting with clients on the Tuesday.
Yeah.
And we met with 2 sets of clients. Then we had a meeting with Scottish Development International,
and it was
Scottish Enterprise.
The wrap up of the Amazon Accelerator.
That was on the Tuesday, and then Wednesday there was a wrap up with the Amazon Accelerator, which was the cohort of 12.
Some really cool brands. So to give everyone context, basically we, with the Scottish government, we help brands go from idea, or I have products and I need to export, and we help them use Amazon as their means to export, going from like the data at the very beginning through to listing optimization, through to shipments, through to advertising, reviews, promotions, and then all the export related stuff related to the EU and the US, tax, all that kind of stuff. So we kind of, over 12 weeks, which is quite challenging. It's a real pace.
I was going to say, it's a huge pace. I mean, 12 weeks sounds like a long time, but it's not, especially in business terms when it comes to Amazon. The cohort are phenomenal. I think they really kept up with the pace. It was really good to see. It's the 4th time we've delivered this.
Yeah.
And I think we're getting better at delivering it as well.
Each time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and definitely hats off to Scottish Enterprise for being able to like pull it off, because it's hard. One, they have to like work it out with their internal, like all the stuff that goes on within the organization, but also organize these 12 different entrepreneurs and companies to come together and to do things at the right time, to show up at the right, because we have these clinics, and they come on the clinics as well every fortnight. Come up to those, to watch all the modules, get everything submitted. It's a lot of work.
Massive shout out to Karen Riddick, who collaborates with us on it and delivers.
Yes.
Yeah. We just could not do it without
do it without Karen.
And then Nicola McEwen as well, phenomenal, from Elevator. Keeps everything running, keeps us organized. Those 2 people, it would never happen if it wasn't.
And it's really cool because it came about through the idea of Carl Gardner, right? And he had this idea, and he's I guess a bit more of a maverick within the organization, and that he's just kind of like been able to like create this program that really helps brand. Like,
I was going to say, I think he really understands businesses and what they need, and then it allows us to really cut through everything to deliver that for them.
And especially in a modern way, right? It's not just like, oh, go and do these trade shows, which are not necessarily a bad thing, but it's a very kind of like practical, quick, realistic way of doing things in line with like where commerce is moving.
I mean, it's such a mix, right? So we have in person, we have regular online meetups, and we have recorded content. It's a mix of all three of those things, and yeah, he's really helped us to develop and design that.
Okay, and so that wrapped up last week.
That was on the Wednesday.
And then so I flew back to Hungary, and you flew.
I flew back to London, had a night in London. And then Thursday, late on Thursday, I flew to Dubai, got there Friday morning, had meetings all day Friday, finished about 11 p.m., went to bed, woke up early Saturday morning, meetings all day, and then flew home Saturday night, got home Sunday morning. Yeah.
And that's basically just like, to give that context, why you flew out there. One is obviously the tariffs and the brands that we work with could have affected by that, but also just some really like deep interactions with them. Yeah,
I was going to say, so I mean, the clients that we have there all have fairly significant businesses with lots of a lot of them are exposed in the US. That was particularly what drove the need to have the meetings, trying to work out ways to mitigate risk to moving forward, and try and just work out so that we're covering for all the options that are coming up, working in with all of their departments, generally finance and production, to make sure that they're all part of the conversation and the plan.
Yeah, and again, some context. This is a company that does, this year they're targeting about 18 million on Amazon, just the US. If you have a company that's doing in a month like several million, and then you get surprise targets, tariffs, you need to kind of figure things out. And so that's what you were doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just becomes more and more. There's one thing with the tariffs, you can't stop. We've talked about this before, right? You can't just stop. So you've got to keep going. How do you do that, and how do you mitigate the risk on it? So that was 2 days spent just working on that alone.
Yeah, and we filmed a podcast on tariffs. If you haven't seen it already, check that out.
That was a good one.
Yeah, in Edinburgh. We filmed that in
We did film that in Edinburgh. That's another thing we did when we were in Scotland.
Yeah. That's a lot of traveling, a lot of miles. Yeah. And then tomorrow we are off to Cambridge.
Tomorrow's Cambridge, yeah. Actually, that's going to be fun, right?
That's a fun one.
We're doing a 2-day retreat. We're taking the whole UK-based team with us. 2-day retreat to, in Cambridge, having some fun as a group. Looking forward to it.
Do you want to say any secret reveals about why you're in Manchester? Very James Bond of you, Zamir.
I was up and down in a day. I was there speaking to a potential AI partner. Hopefully, some exciting stuff is going to be coming out of that over the next few months. So there's
watch the space, guys.
We've got a special project. I can say it.
It's a special,
Project K. So we're working on that. So hopefully there'll be some more exciting stuff of that coming out over the next few months. But let's hope something comes of that. It was a very good meeting though. Ali, do you want to do any reveals or say anything about the retreat in Cambridge?
Well, the truth is, I don't know anything about it.
I was just checking because I don't know anything about it either.
It's been organized by the team.
We've not been told.
Leon, who's sitting here,
who's producing today,
is producing as well. Was one of the people organizing it. The other one was Tara and James. So yeah, it's been great, and it's quite cool. I'm enjoying just kind of like doing this.
I was going to say, you know what? We've been hell of a busy last 3-4 weeks, right? Leon was at AdCon in London.
At AdCon. Smash that.
Walking
side by side with
Rory Sutherland.
Yeah.
Mr. Ogilvy. That one. Absolutely. But I was going to say, our team have been working really hard. Everyone's been really busy pushing stuff along and organizing things. So we're really lucky to have such a phenomenal team.
Yeah, absolutely. Much love, guys. You make us happy here.
And I'm sure you're going to have nice surprises for us in Cambridge.
Can I go back to this other point that I know I mentioned it earlier, but I want to go back to it.
Okay, go.
Because it's actually super interesting to experience. To go from hyper Amazon, where we often tell customers, or we tell brands that we work with, Amazon shoppers are convenience shoppers. Right? We say this, and it's hard to kind of like hit that point home until you're hit by the inconvenience of no Amazon in a new location and trying to figure out, okay, so I need like this, and this. I now have to figure out, one, where sells this item that I'm looking for? 2, am I going to find the one with the specifications that I'm looking for? And then 3, I have to physically go out there and do it purchase it while I've got to like work, have a family, and all the other admin that goes with life. Whereas, so in Hungary, I don't see as many courier vans driving around doing delivery, right? So clearly the consumer experience, the consumer journeys for things exist online, just not to the extent and not the entrenched level that they do here. And it's so funny going from, and I say funny, but like, I mean inconvenient, by going from this environment where I could literally just like, oh, I need something. Oh, I need a new like lens cover for my iPhone. So I'm going to just jump on Amazon and it'll be with me tomorrow and it's all good. Whereas Hungary, I'm like, okay, where do I buy that? You know, just want to put that out there.
No, I think it's a really good point, right? So because we do sometimes kind of give Amazon a hard time. They have changed things a lot, but actually that convenience, and we've always said this is the key thing, why people choose Amazon is convenience, and that's just proving the point.
Yeah. And I was on the train yesterday. Well, they have these like, they have trams, and I was going to a meeting and I was on the tram and I was thinking, all right, there's a whole bunch of these like little shops out in the street. If Amazon came here, a lot of those guys, in fairness, would have a tougher time because they're going to be competing against an online, probably on par or much more convenient shopping experience. One, but at the same time, Hungary has unemployment issues, especially in rural areas, and so there's like a countervailing element to each piece. I don't know the definitive answer. Obviously, I find as a shopper, as a consumer, I find Amazon great. As someone who studied public policy and economic development, I find it challenging in terms of the broader economic consequences. But I think on the whole, if I can be so bold as to say, I think the overall benefits of Amazon are high, as opposed to it not being there. It's a bold statement. Please, if you disagree with me, please correct me.
Ultimately, it becomes almost a moot point because I don't see us going back, especially like you said, once you've got the convenience and you've tasted it, you're not going to. What I find really interesting is the fact that you saved up that shopping list.
I actually had a shopping list. I was like, in London, purchase. And so on Tuesday, I literally went on. Like, so yesterday, I was like, buy, check out, knowing it's all going to arrive today.
Yeah.
And then now that it's arrived, boom. And then also, like, for example, my wife's cousin, he needed these audio jacks. And he couldn't find them anywhere. I was like, let me just check on Amazon UK. Yes, it exists on Amazon UK. It's a very unique one. Bought it. It's going to arrive and I'll take it back with me. And so, like,
you're actually you're muling stuff across.
I'm a mule. Yeah, arbitrage, whatever you want to call it.
You're shipping. You're doing the actual delivery.
Yeah, 100%. I was like, look, tell me
extended delivery services.
What do you want? As long as it fits in my bag, I travel light. I can bring it back.
I've got something else I want to ask you about. So obviously, when I was running iCallTech, like day in, day out, this is going back, so 2014 through to 2018, 2019, we would take the family every summer to Italy.
Yeah, which I respect. I learned this from Zamir, by the way. So Zamir, like you're saying, spent every summer in Italy. I so love that you did that.
Yeah, and I'm just curious. So for me, I always say the journey was part of the holiday. I'm curious to find out how you found the journey. What did you, how was that experience?
The journey was fun, but it's harder because we had younger kids. I think you were doing, your kids were slightly older. They like mine are like sub 3.
Actually, no. So just to put it into context, so I actually started doing this back before, because I still ran my own business. So from 2008 onwards. So in fact, 2007, 2008. So Zakir would have been 3-4 years old, and Dalla then was born. He wasn't born the first time we did it. I remember
damn.
Girl was pregnant, and then it was kind of through.
Yeah.
So we did it from him being a newborn.
The 2.0 version of everything I do, Zamir. I can't keep up with your Mr. Brightside-ness.
I love putting them in the car and driving across. I think driving across Europe is. I just, there's something about
that is awesome though. Like me and Petra were like, oh, why don't we just drive to Serbia?
Right? Yeah, you can just do that.
It's just right there.
Yeah. It's just like look on the map and find them. It's like, well, why don't we just drive this way?
Let's go check it out.
And just stop in this city and spend a couple of days and check it out.
Which I love. That bit is super awesome.
And the fact is, because, and I just bring this back to, so anyone that's founders running their own businesses online, and I didn't point out that we do this for our employees as well, right? We make it so that they can travel and work at the same time too, because we think it's really important to have that
fully remote
founder experience.
Yeah, who would go off to Southeast Asia for like 3 months?
Who would go to Australia as far as you can on time zones and think that was a good idea?
That's what Leon did. 3 months.
Yeah.
Came back, shaved hair, whole new man. Really tanned, red Speedos from Bondi.
Yeah, those going to come out for our on our Cambridge trip.
Yeah. If you're truly brave, Leon, put a little shot of it in here. Anyway.
my point being that it allows you to have this degree of freedom. We still work. I think this is a really important point. You were still working during that. Back in those days when I was doing those trips, I was working.
Yeah.
Reduced the hours, and I was super efficient for the hours that I was working and coming online.
Super efficient, yeah.
But just got to do stuff with the family. It did give a degree. That flexibility gave you a different perspective on life in terms of
100%. Yeah, and like especially the cool thing about Europe and many parts of Europe, like in Hungary. You're going out in the street, people like sitting in the street, they're having a coffee, they're chatting. It's very quintessential, like European vibe, right?
Yeah.
And these little small, narrow lanes and that kind of stuff. And the light is all amazing. It's that kind of
I remember
space.
that in Italy, the little villages, as you stay there. And yeah, you're right. Everyone comes out in the evenings and walks around.
Yeah, and just chilling. It's insane. And so go back to that point, life by design. What kind of life do you want to live? Where do you want to do? So if you are considering becoming a founder, then give yourself license to dream of doing that. If you're already a founder,
why aren't you doing it?
Yeah, try and find a way of not necessarily doing this, because this is what's good life for me, and it's been for Zamir. What's a good life for you, and do that. Make it real.
You may, and just look at the friction points that are stopping you from doing it, and just make a decision, a positive decision, if that's what you want, whatever it is you want to dream to be. I think one of the key things, like you said, I think is if we go back to how you started, is that meme you just described, went from 40 hours a week working for someone else to 150 hours a week working for myself. If you're going to be working those hours and for yourself, and it is worth it, one of the reasons that it's worth it is because you get to do the things you really want to do.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to make that happen. You have to choose that. And it's very easy to ignore that.
Yeah, exactly. Choose life. So cool, guys. We're going to wrap it there. This episode brought to you by one of our brands, by the way, Hip Hop CBD Kombucha.
Check it out. CBD in it?
Yeah, CBD. Legit.
I thought it was just
legit.
Okay, cool. CBD.
It's quite good.
I was enjoying it.
Yeah, guys. So much love. And at the end of this video, you will probably get recommended another video by YouTube. They have algorithms that are super good. So check them out.
One love.
One love.
Hi team, we drop a new episode every Wednesday, so please like, follow, subscribe. They're on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts from. We would really appreciate if you do this. It really helps us out. Thank you.